Hey everyone, this is Matt again, and this is deck matchup number 4 of the day. We are doing Eldlich against Dinowaifus, aka Dinomorphia. So, in my opinion, Dinowaifus is a cool little archetype that came out recently in Battle of Chaos, and then got more support in Dimension Force. It's a control deck, so it heavily revolves around trap cards. It's not as good as Eldlich, in my opinion, because you like pay life points out the ass, like you're vulnerable to skill drain and a bunch of other things. But it is a control deck, so when we do an Eldlich versus Dino Waifu matchup, this is like five-dimensional chess. This is pinnacle Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, like there's actually multiple turns of player interaction, of going back and forth, playing cards and doing stuff, which you don't see often. Most of the time, it's like, oh, blow your load on the first turn. If they don't have an out, you win. If they do, then you just scoop. Like that's Yu-Gi-Oh most of the time. It's most of the time Yu-Gi-Oh is just we're playing solitaire, right? Two people playing solitaire at the same time, right? Or one after the other. But this is actually like a very grindy game, right? So I beat this guy 2-0, right? Because Eldlich reigns supreme in terms of control decks. But you're gonna enjoy, like, this is probably gonna be a long video because of how long these duels are. All right, so let's get into game one. So game one here, he does go first. Normal's Teresia. So if you're a Dino Waifu player, you love to see it. So in my opening hand, I have Extrav and Duality. A second Extrav is dead, unfortunately. It's funny, I run two Extrav in my deck so that I don't see two in my hand, and yet two show up in my hand anyway. Like sometimes it happens, but it happens way less often than if you run three of them. But remember, this Duality here would have been the third Extravagance, right? And the third Extravagance is always dead, pretty much. So my opening hand is solid, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that familiar. When I recorded this game, when I first played this game and saved this replay, I was not that familiar on how the Dinomorphia deck worked with the new support, with Dimension Force, like with the Frenzy and the Rex term. I was a little confused about how those cards interacted. Um, but I know the base stuff, like how the Kentagrina domain works, but all the new stuff I wasn't too familiar with, like or the extent of the Rex term. Anyway, so he's gonna go ahead and grab. He does grab his Frenzy here. Prosperity is going to grab him. What does it grab him? I believe he goes for the Solemn Strike, so I know he has Solemn Strike, which means I can play around it, right? Duality is gonna grab him. So similar to Eldlich, they grab Rivaler, which does nothing to our deck. Similar to Eldlich, Dinomorphia does run two pot cards. They run Prosperity and Duality. The reason they can't run Extra is because they have some very important extra deck monsters that they do not want to banish. Whereas I do not, so I'm okay running Extra. So he runs Prosperity. So he had a very solid opening. He got two pot cards. He got his Teresia. He got his Fusion, and he set forward, like set 5 pass. Great opening for him. My opening not as good, but I'm gonna go ahead and draw 2. He does not negate. I'm gonna Duality here. I don't plan on summoning Eldritch this turn, so I'm gonna grab D-Bearer. So Dino Waifus rely a lot on fusion summoning. So D-Barrier is gonna be your best friend, right? Because D-Barrier you chain to their fusion trap, right? And they only have so many ways they can fusion. So like if they don't get their fusion monsters out, they're extremely weaker, right? Like significantly weaker. So I'm gonna grab D-Barrier. I'm gonna grab Eldlich and send this middle card. This was randomly chosen. Ended up being Rivalry, which is not the ideal. The reason I didn't do her fusion, because if I target the fusion, he's just gonna chain it and fuse anyway. So I thought, okay, one of these 4 random ones. I actually did roll a dice for this. That's how I landed on the middle one. I don't always pick the middle one. I literally like roll the dice. Like that's how I pick it. All right. So set 4 pass, and then I have Extra for follow up. And then I'm gonna grab Huaquero. The reason I grab Huaquero and not Conch is because I have a Conch. You're right. Okay. So punishment is gonna hit this Teresia. So funny thing, my first copy of Extra have banished all my Entis. I didn't realize that. I used punishment here. I forgot to check my extra deck and my banishes, hoping I would pop Teresia and one other card, specifically his fusion. So for those who don't know, the Dinomorphia Frenzy, like his fusion traps, can only work in the main phase. I think. I forget why. I wanted to pop 2 of his cards. Or maybe I wanted to snipe Solemn Strike. I don't know. But then I saw, oh shit, I don't actually have any Intis. So I send Wind Pegasus adding Mister, because it's like the next best thing. And I figured, okay, well, if he destroys one of my cards, I can bounce one of his. Like, so yeah, kind of egg on my face moment there, but that's okay. So he's going to grab the Sonic card, which says, basically he can negate the activation of spell trap card if he has a... So because I know he has these cards, like, I can play around it, right? So Laquero. So I trap trick into Ice Dragons because his deck is entirely dinosaurs. And one thing about his monsters that you may or may not know if you haven't... Oh, by the way, look at the stick mom made dino. Anyway, when these monsters are destroyed, including her, like her fusion monsters, it says... What is it? If this card is destroyed battle card, you can banish one trap from your grave, special summon a level 4 or lower. So basically, he gets another body, right? So what I want to do is I want to use Ice Dragons to banish both of his Teresias, because Teresia is his searcher, right? And she's going to be recurring herself a lot. So I just want to get rid of her, right? So I'm going to Ice Dragons, and he goes in. So because I have a light monster, I can't grab Teresia because it's dark. So not bad. In retrospect, maybe I should have let him swing for 15 and then done Ice Dragons. I don't know. But I draw another D-Barrier, which is nice. So Pod is going to draw me another D-Barrier and Trap Trick. Yeah, D-Barriers have been, like, just flocking to my hand this game. So he's going to go ahead and do the Domain. I'm going to chain D-Barrier to call Fusions. And he's going to chain the Counter Trap. So I knew he had the Counter Trap, so I knew this was happening. But, again, I'm getting 2 cards out for my 1, so it's fine. He's going to get Kentagrina. Because he popped Teresia, Diplos revives. And then he's going to burn me for 500. Eldlich is going to return a hand. I'm going to summon it. Attempt to attack. He's going to go ahead and summon the Rex Term using Kentagrina's effect. So, for those of you who don't know, Rex Term says, your opponent can activate the effects monsters they control that have attack higher than or greater than or equal to LP. So his LP is at 1,000. Monster effects don't matter. But the second effect is what matters. Once per turn, quick effect, you can pay half your life points. Attack of all monsters your opponent currently controls become equal to your life points. So basically, he can use this to make my Eldlich have 500 attack. So because of that, I'm gonna use Kong to attempt to pop this Dino. By popping the Dino, he gets to revive one of his monsters. He's gonna revive Teresia, of course, because it searches. Alright, and now I'm going to attempt to swing here. Well, I guess I set first. And then he's going to make... He has another Frenzy. Is Frenzy not once per turn? You can only activate one Dinomorphia Frenzy. How is he activating a second one? Huh. He activated a second one. Oh, no. He activated Domain first. And Frenzy was activated via Kentagrina's effect, which says you can banish a Dinomorphia normal trap to basically, like, copy the effect. Okay, so he technically has not... So he gets out another Rex Term. So yeah, I can't attack here with Eldlich because he's just going to make my Eldlich's attack, like, 250. So instead, I'm going to attack the 0 defense Diplos, which will revive Teresia, but since he already used Teresia, he does not get another search. But every time he revives one of his monsters, he has to banish a trap, so... Alright, so... I'm just going to go ahead and hold this. Get Elixir here. His turn. I'm going to use Elixir, and then I'm going to chain D-Barrier. The reason I chain D-Barrier is because Rex Term, because his effect can change my attack during the damage step, during damage calculation, I know that I won't be able to D-Barrier in the damage calculation, because D-Barrier, like, damage calculation, you can only, like, activate some certain types of effects. Effects that change attack and defense, and effects that negate those effects. Right. You can't activate D-Barrier during the damage calculation. So the fact that his Teresia is attacking my Eldlich means he does plan to use his Rex Term to make my Eldlich 250 attack during the damage step. So, flipping D-Barrier here does force him to use the Rex Term now. However, because we're not in damage calculation, I immediately go into Trap Trick and get Torrential Tribute. The reason is because I'm about to summon Eldlich via my Elixir. So he does make my monsters 250 attack, but once Eldlich comes out here, Torrential is going to blow up his board. Except for my Eldlich, because my Eldlich is still immune from destruction effects. So because his monsters are destroyed, he does get to revive his Dino gang here, Teresia and Diplos, which can attack my Eldlich, but it's a lot less damage I'm going to be taking, and because he destroyed Eldlich, I can finally use my Wind Pegasus out of Nixter, and I shuffle back his card, right, that he just set. So he's just gonna attack me. I'm okay with this. All right, my turn. Duality is a great card. I'm gonna grab Heavenly Prison, set Deep. So I'm gonna set Deep Bearer, grab Conch. So I have Heavenly Prison to protect, and then Conch is gonna grab Elixir. By the way, he only has 4 cards in his extra deck, by the way. So he had to banish a bunch of his extra deck because of Prosperity. And he's already gone through 2 Rex terms, 1 Kentagrina, and 2 of the birds. So his extra deck is looking mighty bleak. Deck left. Okay, so he uses 2 Rex terms, 1 Kentagrina, and 2 of these. So he does have 1 Rex term, 1 Kentagrina back. The point is that his extra deck is looking mighty bleak and thinned out here. So let's see what we're going to do. So he's going to go ahead and try to attack. I'm going to summon the Eldlich. And then he flips Anti-Spell Fragment, which literally does nothing to our deck. Especially since like all our pot cards are in the graveyard. We literally have no more spells, I'm pretty sure. Or is that true? No, I have Cursed Eldland. Right. So I'm going to use Lord. I'm going to attack. So at this point, obviously he has 250 life points. I'm just going to keep attacking and try to kill him. So the Dino-Waifu traps in the graveyard says if you banish this, you take no battle damage from the battle, right? So I want to force him to banish those, but also if I destroy Teresia and or Diplos, their effects say that like they can revive another one if they banish a trap. So he's low on traps to banish from the graveyard here. So I'm kind of like forcing his hand. And decide, you know what, I'm going to get 2 Eldliches, and I'm going to try to force you. I either kill you here or force you to banish. So he's going to take no battle damage. So he flipped Dinomorphia Alert, which says pay half your life points, special up to 2 Dinomorphia monsters from your deck whose total level equals 8 or less, but you cannot declare an attack with them this turn. So yeah, he used this to revive his Rex term. And I'm going to use Conch here to basically pop his Rex term. And so the reason I activate D-Barrier here is because Rex term says if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon level 6 or lower Dinomorphia. So he can actually revive Kentagrina, so I'm just going to say no with D-Barrier. And since the number of monsters on the field changed, I get a replay, so I do not attack. Instead, I literally set Lord of the Heavenly Prison, and the reason I do this is because it's a 3,000 defense monster, right? So he can't really he could out my Eldlich, which was low attack, but setting Lord here makes it so that he has to attack into it, and if he does, to take no damage, he has to like banish his thing. So yeah, this is just to defend on his turn. Like I know that he cannot like if you read this Rex term here, this says pay half your life points. The attack of all monsters your opponent currently controls become equal to your LP. So if he summons his 3rd Rex term, right, he cannot out my field because none of his monsters will be able to attack over 3k defense. That's the logic there, right? So that's why I tribute. This is a tribute set, right? So he can't do anything. So I draw Solemn Strike, which is great. I activate Lord. Set Solemn Strike, pass. He's going to use Prosperity. Prosperity banishes all his cards but 1. So, oh man, I really want to know what his 1 is. I think we're going to see it. Are we going to see it? Like, regardless, Rex term can only be fusion summoned using another card from his extra deck. So I don't think this is Rex term. I think it's Kentagrina. But basically his Rex terms are dead with the exception of reviving him from the graveyard. He can only revive him from the graveyard now. So I draw Skill Drain, which is great. So he's going to use Brutes. Okay, so he destroys my set, Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Okay, that's fine. Burn me for 500. Doesn't matter. Eldlich is going to summon itself back. So the reason I don't bother with Solemn... I keep Skill Drain over Solemn Strike. Obviously, Skill Drain negates more. But also Solemn Strike, it's like, well... I don't think he's going to be bringing his fusion monsters out anymore. So at this point, I just need to attack for game. So he's going to banish so he takes no battle damage. And he is almost out of traps that can protect from battle damage. So no effect damage, and this one says no effect damage. Yeah, so he's out of trap cards that will protect him from battle damage. So I do draw Cursed Eldland, which I can't play for this, but I don't need to play Cursed Eldland. I just need to set it and then use it to summon Eldlich. And then I'm going to mill Conch. I don't know why I milled Conch, honestly. It doesn't really matter. Just, by the way, I'm at 11 cards left in my deck. He's at 15. Like, this is a grindy-ass game that we're playing. And how many turns has it been? Like, my extra deck is shot. His extra deck is gone, but his extra deck actually matters more. Attack. Summon Ceresia. Attack. Summon Diplos. So, yeah, he's out of trap cards in his graveyard. Completely out. So, he uses Ferret Flames to... shuffle my Eldliches back. So this card is really good. This card says, if the combined attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls is higher than your life points, make your opponent shuffle monsters control into the deck so the combined attack... So this is an amazing card because it basically, because Dinowaifus live on the edge with, low life points, this card is, always live for them, and it just forces their opponent to shuffle their entire board, monster back to the deck. So... on res, I'm just gonna summon Lord here in defense mode and set Torrential Tribute. I didn't have very many. I was out of pot cards and I didn't have elixirs, so I just thought, you know what? I'm just gonna grab Torrential Tribute. Yeah. So I draw Solemn Strike. I'm gonna attack. Torrential Tribute goes away because Lord, the card that Lord searches gets banished at the end phase. Why do I not set Solemn Strike? I think because, oh, I know why. So Skill Drain and Solemn Strike cannot both activate, and both my Eldliches are currently in my deck. So if I draw Eldlich, I need a trap for it to send Eldlich to the graveyard and then get rid of one of his cards, right? So at this point, I'm just like, oh, second Lord, nice. Attack. So he does banish a trap and get... But he's out of searches. Theresia is not searching anything. This is just bodies on the field defending. So, Eldlich definitely wins the grind game over time. Even though he has more cards in hands, these cards are probably useless cards. Like hand traps. Hand traps are freaking useless. So, I do set Solemn Strike. I don't know why. I thought I was holding it for Eldlich, but... So, I'm going to activate Lord. So I have a second Lord that can come down. So because I'm out of Entices, I'm just going to use Eldlich here to send this card to the graveyard. It's Ash. And then I'm going to summon... I was going to summon, just swing for game, basically. He was out of cards that can protect him from battle. This is a long-ass duel, alright? We were 2 trap control decks that got to 8 and 11 cards left in our deck, respectively. This was a long duel. This is game 1, by the way. Right? This was a good game of Yu-Gi-Oh! If, I don't know, back in the day, I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I liked back and forth Yu-Gi-Oh! I like having a few boss monsters and then a bunch of spells or traps to protect them or to interact with your opponent. This was a great game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright. Whew. Game 2. Don't worry, game 2 is not as long as game 1, and you'll see why soon. So basically, I opened Judgment, which is great in a trap matchup. So Judgment was in my side deck. I sided it in. I think I took out Goes in match because it was pointless. But yeah, Judgment is great in a trap matchup for obvious reasons. So he's going to go ahead and Prosperity into... What is he? He got into Theresia. Okay. Duality into Frenzy. Okay. And then he battle phases into Evenly Matched. Alright, so... I have Judgment, so this is gonna be okay. But in general, evenly matched as a trap deck is super, super, I don't know, not good. But I mean, he's running hand traps. Like, I don't know. I feel like this guy could have won if he wasn't running cards like Ash Blossom, like hand traps, and like evenly matched. Like, if he had actually better trap cards, I think he could have like won this or made this more competitive. But whatever. I judge him with the evenly matched. He's gonna Theresia and set a bunch of cards. So check this out. I'm gonna punishment. I do have an Entis this time. An Entis is gonna take out his fusion spell. I knew that was his fusion spell because he searched it, right, with Theresia. So that's one fusion that I got rid of. And then I'm going to summon Hwak. The reason I want to summon Hwak is, so, you know, just so I can have, like, I could do a link play or whatever. I can swing for 18. So I actually use Eldlich to take out his Brute. The reason I take out his Brute is because this Brute basically allows him to like pop cards on my field, so I'm just gonna take it out. He can only use Brute if he has a monster. And then Eldlich is gonna recycle back, summon himself, swing for 35. So yeah, I did get rid of Solemn Strike, but I felt like in this case it was worth it. It was worth it to get rid of Solemn Strike so I can get rid of his trap, right? So I'm gonna get another Elixir. By the way, if you're wondering what I sided in, I sided in Witch's Strike, obviously, because it's a trap matchup and because he has a negate. And I sided in Shadow-Imprisoning Mirror, baby. Let's go. And obviously Solemn Judgments. So, alright, he's going to go to Thing. He swings into it. So he crashes his Diplos because he wants to revive Theresia. So he banishes Evenly Match. Theresia's going to get him a search, right? So he does use Mystical Space Typhoon. Dude, you're playing Eldlich. Why are you citing a Mystical Space Typhoon? Like, Cosmic Cyclone is better, and Heavy Storm Duster is just the best one, right? I'll know. Well, actually, no. Cosmic Cyclone, if his life points are low, he actually can't use it. So maybe it makes sense here. But still, why would you side Mystical Space Typhoon? They're better cards, man. So I'm just gonna, you know, pop his Theresia. Gonna get Diplos. End phase, I'm going to get an Eldlich, and he's going to use Sonic to negate the Elixir. So I got a negate out, so that's good. Another reason he needed Sonic, well, I guess he wanted more cards in his graveyard that protects from battle damage. I drew, oh yeah, I also said, listen, Heavy Storm Duster. This card is amazing, right? Top two spell traps, destroy them, right? This is great. Use it on their turn, cost nothing. Can be searched via Trap Trick. I didn't need Trap Trick to get it. So I'm just going to attempt to swing. He's going to try to fuse. I'm going to grab my Conch. He's going to make Kentagrina. Kentagrina is going to banish and make the Rex Term. I'm going to go into defense position because Rex Term only makes my attack, lowers my attack, right? So Conch is going to grab Elixir. So check this out. So battle phase, he's going to try to do this. I'm going to attempt to pop. So I pop Rex Term, which will allow him to revive Theresia. Theresia's going to search. So I know that this card is on the field, right? They have your life points, summon two things. This can revive Rex Term, right? He's gonna kill the Eldlich, that's okay. He's gonna kill this, that's okay. He's gonna set a card, and then on end phase, Heavy Storm Duster, baby. This is why you play this card. Pop two of their back row, right? Better than Twin Twisters. You don't have to discard. Better than anything else. Just pop two. Can be searched off Trap Trick. Done. Right? So, obviously, Kentagrina has an effect that says banish this trap to copy its effect, right? But that's okay. I'm going to grab my Elixir. I'm going to grab my Conquistador. Set Hwak. Summon Elixir. Eldlich here. He's going to summon his Rex Term. Alright. So now, the problem here for me, right, so this is interesting. I have two monsters that can kill Theresia, but he has a Rex Term, which says, you know, he can make the attacks of my monsters basically, you know, 0, right? Or close to 0. So I got to do something here to make sure that he cannot OTK me or he can't, like, whatever me. So here's what I do. I'm going to go ahead, Xyz summon this guy, Gustav Max. So normally I would be able to, detach a material, burn him for 2k, win. However, Rex term here says I cannot activate the effects of monsters I control that have attack greater than or equal to my LP. Okay? So unfortunately, I can't actually activate my Gustav Max. But that's not the point here. The point is this. I'm going to summon Liebe in defense position. So this is a 4k beater, 4k attack, 4k defense. Kentagrina cannot out this, and this Rex term only says reduces the attack of my monsters, not the defense. So I can just sit on this monster and just defend, right? Until I get all the cards I need. So I'm going to get Eldlich, I'm going to get Conk. So end phase. I'm going to set Solemn Strike. I'm not making any plays. So first of all, my Eldlich is material here. So I literally cannot summon Eldlich because I have my Eldlich is attached as material. I literally can't summon it. But that's okay because he can't out my monster here. Right? He just can't. Alright, Shadow-Imprisoning Mirror. This is how we win the game, right? All Dino-Waifu monsters are dark monsters, and all their effects activate on the field or in the graveyard. So this card right here will single-handedly win me the game. Check this out. So I'm going to flip Shadow-Imprisoning Mirror, and he's going to chain the Rex term, which is going to make this monster 63. But I don't care, because next turn, I'm going to have a 4k beater, baby, and he's not going to be able to do anything about it. Look at that. So Prosperity is going to grab him. Ash Blossom. Like, why would you add Ash Blossom? I don't get it. You'll see why. He's going to normal Ash Blossom, and he's going to link into Psychic End Punisher, which says, while your LP is less than or equal to your opponent's, this synchro summon is unaffected by card effects. And once per turn, play 1,000. Banish him at the start of battle phase. Make this card gain attack equal to difference in LP. I'm going to Solemn Strike this summon because otherwise this card is going to out my Liebe, right? But yeah, he's fucked now because I have a 4k beater against none of his monsters can stop this. And I'm negating all dark monsters, folks. Look at this. So I'm going to draw. I'm going to go into attack position. I'm going to finally detach an Eldlich. Gain 6,000 attack. Alright. Now this motherfucker needs to stop me from killing him. He's going to banish this card, which will make him take 0 battle damage, right? Alright, where is this? Which is okay, because I'm still going to kill his Kentagrina. His Kentagrina is going to activate in the graveyard, and Shadow-Imprisoning Mirror is going to negate it, baby! By the way, if you are this Dino-Waifu player, and you are watching this game, one thing I suggest to you that you can't do, you don't have to, maybe you can run Light Imprisoning Mirror. There's a Light Imprisoning Mirror that negates light monsters, so that could stop Eldlich's graveyard effect. Could also stop the Punk Engine. Could also stop... It can stop a number of things. In this current format, it's not as good as Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Because, Light Imprisoning Mirror against Branded, not as good because, most of their monsters are darks. But consider Light Imprisoning Mirror for the future. Like, invest in it, buy the cards. And, it's a good card. Alright, main phase 2. I'm going to just set my cards. Yeah, he's super toast. So I'm going to Ice Dragons here. And I'm going to get rid of both of his Tiresias. Yeah, I know I have Shadow-Imprisoning Mirror, but just in case he outs Shadow-Imprisoning Mirror, I don't want him to have access to as many Tiresias. So I'm just going to banish them. Trap Trick into D-Barrier, right? I'm not going to use it this turn, but I want D-Barrier on my field just in case he attempts to fuse. By the way, he has 2 cards in his extra decks, guys. Like, he had to banish cards for his Prosperity, and he had to... 2 Prosperities, yeah. So he's extremely screwed. So I'm going to detach my other Eldlich, make this 8k attack, but he imperms me to 4k. Doesn't matter, because I'm just going to swing. He's going to protect himself from battle damage. It's okay. I can still detach and go back to 6,000 attack. Like, this card right here, I love this card. This card is so fucking good. Like, either you just run over, you just OTK them, or let's say you're against an Adding Nister deck, right? Adding Nister, turbos the what's it called, the arrival at Ignister, which is a 4K beater unaffected by card effects. This guy here is also a 4K beater, and it becomes 6K. So don't be afraid of Ad Ignister, and don't be afraid of Dinowaifu, because this card right here will just run over all their monsters. Right. So he's just gonna set. I'll activate Lord in Hand. Eldlich is going to revive itself. What did I get rid of? Did I get rid of D-Barrier? Did I? I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm going to attack here. He's going to lose the Ash. And then swing for game, baby. Woo! G to the G. So this match was very fun. I had fun. Did I play optimally? Did I make mistakes? I don't know. Who knows, right? I played the best I could, right? The point is you do your best with what you know, right? But yeah, that's the matchup, Eldlich versus Dinowaifus. Eldlich will win the matchup. Eldlich is the better control deck, but Dinowaifus is a fun deck. And arguably, Dinowaifus is better at OTKing than Eldlich, so there's that. But Dinowaifus pays a lot of life points. Let's say you're a Dinowaifu against Masquerade, like in the Brandon matchup. You can be very screwed against Masquerade, right? Let's say you're Dinowaifus, you're in Game 3. Judge calls time, you're probably going to lose on time, more likely than Eldlich. So yeah, fun game. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, if you're watching this, Mr. Dino player, or if you're an inspiring Dinowaifu player, how should you be building this deck? I would cut a lot of stuff. Cut Ashes, cut Super Polys. You don't need it. You don't need any of these cards. Just play traps. Have your 6 Dino starters and just all traps from there. You should probably run Lord of the Heavenly Prison, right? 3 of them. So 9 monsters in your main deck, and then the rest all traps, and of course your pot cards, right? And then just win Eldlich style. You don't need Ashes, you don't need Imperm is such a bad card in a trap deck. Imperm is a card for combo decks. You are not a combo deck. You are a control deck. You should be running traps, torrentials, punishments, other cards, right? Anyway, so yeah, fun game. I hope you all enjoyed watching this and you learned something. But yeah, that was a lot of back and forth Yu-Gi-Oh, right? This is why I fell in love with the game in the first place when I was a child in 2000 whatever, early 2000s, because the back and forth nature of the game is just awesome. And then just having those trap cards, oh, what do they have face down? Where are they gonna flip, right? It's just a lot of mind games, a lot of cool player interaction going on. Yeah, that's why I love Eldlich. Unfortunately, since Anaconda got banned, Eldlich is pretty much all that I'll be playing for a while. Should I make a Dinowaifu deck? Maybe. I might actually do that, just so that you guys I can make a profile for you guys who do want to play the Dinowaifu deck. I can give you a profile. But yeah, it's a fun deck, right? You know what? I am going to do that. I am going to make a Dinowaifu deck, and I will make a profile for it. So, anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this video. This was deck matchup number 4 of the day. I'll check my replays to see if I have more, but I hope you enjoyed this game, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.